defeat for South Africa deflating, or win something that will just lift you to the stars?
Both. South Africa winning that first game, I suppose, will, the media will start speaking about South Africa as a real threat in the World Cup, and then, going from, under the radar almost as a team. If you beat England in the first game, all of a sudden that will change within a day. That's how quickly that will change. And if you lose to England, obviously you go there trying to make sure you play your best cricket at the start of the tournament and have the fairy tale start that you want, and that's the plan. But if you lose one game against, as a coach, at 6-7 weeks tournament, similar to any other tournaments that we play, IPLs, all these tournaments, it's not about how you get to the semi-final. It's like you said in your question, it's about getting to the semi-final. That's protocol number A, and then you get to the semi-final, and then any team can win it. I've been lucky to be involved with tournament cricket for a long time now, and hopefully I've got some great learnings from that. South Africa has been a very, very good league team over the last decade. We play series extremely well. Tournament mode, we probably haven't been as good as we should. So for me, it's just about, as coach, week by week, how are you prepping, what sort of state you are mentally, what's your environment like, all those things that are really in your control. And then you go, obviously, hopefully the results go your way. But if they don't, in the first 2 or 3 games, you just fall back on all those things that you think is really important, because it is a long, long tournament. And I think this is even longer than before. You're playing for the first time, you're playing everyone. So it's going to be, it's a lot of new things for even the 2 guys who's been to World Cups in the past. But for me, it's about making sure that we're in a good frame of mind, and not focus too much on the results.
What lessons do you take out of the last World Cup, 2015, areas to improve on there?
Yeah, I think 2015 we didn't play our best cricket throughout the tournament, but we sort of found our mojo towards the end of the tournament, which I think is a really good thing that you can have over a long period of time. That game against Sri Lanka, we played our best game. That quarter-final where we smoked them, and then the semi-final, I thought we played some really good cricket. A better team on the day beat us, and that's going to happen to a lot of teams in this World Cup. But I think maybe one learning that we've spoken of quite a bit of is that we, myself included, felt that you needed to do more to win a World Cup. You needed to be really special. More things that we've been doing right through the season, and as the coach said, our focus been the last year or so is that whatever we do during the season and during the year, that's good enough, because we are beating teams consistently. So not feel like you need to be Superman on the day, and do a remarkable, score 190 of 80 balls or get 7 for 20, because life doesn't work like that. So our focus is really on making sure that we can try and do the basics as good as possible, and if we can do that, then hopefully we'll handle the tournament mode a little bit better.
As I asked Otis as well, it seems like 350, 320 will be par-ish. With that in mind, how important is a guy like David Miller? How important is it that he fired towards the end of the innings?
Yeah, extremely. I think all batters who's got the potential to be, your, let's call them your big hitters, they play a huge role. So we're lucky that we have, Dave, we've got JP, myself, when I'm in at the crease, I can do that towards the end. Quentin is a guy who does that at the top. So we've got X factor and explosivity in our batting lineup. So that is what posts you the big scores. Guys getting 100 of 70 balls, and David has shown that for us in the past. But I think, I've said this a lot of times. Even if your focus is on 350, trying to get these big scores, if you've got a bowling attack to bowl teams out for 280, then all of a sudden that changes completely. So that's, I think, a huge weapon of ours. People are saying that the wickets are great, and they are better wickets than we play on normally. The scores does say that, domestic cricket does say that, but I honestly do believe that we are going there with a very, very powerful bowling attack. So, whatever as a coach, whatever the batters get, we believe that the bowlers can defend that at any time.
Faf, how is Hash mentally, physically, and what are the chances of working out with Quinny against England?
Like with all of us, it's about understanding where you are mentally. So reference myself and some of the IPL players, coming back from a long tournament, a lot of cricket. So for me, the key was to try and get myself fresh again, trying to get that tank nice and full. And I know what that looks like for me. It didn't necessarily mean training as hard as I can over the last 3 days, because it is still 2 or 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks till that first game. I've played enough cricket to understand that. And the same with Hash. Hash has not scored the amount of runs that he would have liked, but he's also experienced campaigner, and that's why he withdrew himself out of that T20 competition, because it was just not the preparation that he wanted to get. So he's been working extremely hard with Dale Benkenstein, hitting a lot of balls, getting himself in that frame of mind which Ash needs to be in. In terms of team selection, that's a call we'll make when we get to that first game. We've got 2 warm-up games. Generally your guys that you want to pick in form. So if we believe Ash is the guy that is the best form for the first game, then he'll be picked. If we feel there's other guys that are more in form, form does play a huge role in a long series like that. So hopefully Ash can go into that warm-up game and go bang bang 200s in a row. And then we can smile from there. As an experienced player, he's obviously really important in our squad, and that's one of the key reasons he was picked. You cannot substitute experience, so I do believe we've got a nice blend of that in our team. We don't go to a World Cup with all the experience we had in the past. I think we're a much younger team, but I see that as a huge positive for us. We've got some really good, fearless young cricketers in our team that just wants to go and play and do well, and I don't care what's happened in the past. I don't care what's being spoken about. They just want to try and go out there and do something special.
Just a follow-up on that. Sorry. Just a follow-up on that question. Can I ask you, and forgive me for my ignorance, can you just remind us of who your core leadership in your squad is, and like for instance, a player like Ash, what does they bring to the party
Sure.
in this long tournament?
Well, my perception of leadership is it evolves. It's evolved over the last 2 years or so. I think sometimes we can look into leadership as looking to your guys that's played the most games. Naturally, they are the leaders in the team. But I've certainly evolved and seen the value of that young guys can also be key leaders in the team. And I feel that you need diversity in your leadership group. And we've certainly, you can see that that's been happening over the last 2 years. I mean, Quinton captained the game, Aiden captained the game, Kagiso is a big lead in our team, so we really, to answer your question, leadership is not just how many games you've played, it's making sure that every guy in the team's got different groups that they relate to in the team, and that's why we rely on them to be leaders in the group. When I speak of experience, I speak of when you've played tournaments like the World Cup before, and that's what I mean when I speak about Hash. He's been to tournaments, he understands what it's like to play in a big tournament. So with that is always a great thing to have at a tournament. Whether that means runs or not, I don't know. No one can give us that guarantees, but it's just a nice, calm composure that Hashim has. So even if Hashim doesn't play a game, the knowledge and the experience that he'll share with someone like an Adam Markram will be something that only he can get from Hashim. Hashim talking him through those first 10 overs, English conditions. Hash has played a lot of county cricket there, so his experience is very, very vital to us as a group.
Faf, just in terms of the IPL, and obviously it's different conditions and a different format, but how important was it for you to score runs there and to see the likes of KG and Imran doing really well, taking a lot of wickets? How important is that heading into another major tournament?
Yeah, I was really, really happy to see that the South African guys were performing well at the IPL. Conditions, as you say, it's different, but that's, form is, as always, is the biggest contribution to any of that. Quinny is in a really good space. So the form was there, and as I said earlier, the downside of playing all that cricket is you just need to make sure that you get your players back into a mode where they're fresh again. So good thing that KG had a week or two where you could come back, his workload is always a big challenge for us to make sure that he's fresh. Lungi has been having some good time at home to get rest and recovered. Myself, Quentin and Imran has taken it a little bit lighter over the last 3 days because we know that we've played a lot of cricket. We don't need more cricket to get us ready for the World Cup. So Quentin has been spending 2 days at home. It's very hard for Imran to put a ball down. I think he's so addicted to having a ball in his van and ball and leg spin all the time. But yeah, it's about giving him the backing as a leadership group that we trust all the players that they've done enough, that you don't need to do anything more. All the work has been done. We can just go to the World Cup and trusting that our work all our areas has been covered.
Yes, Stu?
Faf, I know Otis said leave the baggage aside, but you will, as the captain of South Africa, be getting questions about what the Proteas have done at World Cups in the past. I was listening to something Graham Smith said the other day and mentioning that you, as captain, had better have some kind of preparation for being asked the same question 4 times, which is happened to you. Do you have something like that in mind, or is it a completely fresh approach from your side to the questions?
No, I mean I think I've started this journey already with the team probably about a year ago. Starting to prepare the team mentally more than anything else. I feel like I'm the guy that speaks most about the mental side of cricket than previous captains did or other guys in the team does. So I do see that there is an area that we can get better in, and that's not something I completely wipe under the carpet and say it's not going to happen at the World Cup, because I know I've been there. I know that the questions you're going to get, every player going to a press conference. I know as captain every question that I'm going to get. So for me, it's not about an answer that I give the media. It's about a process that I've been speaking to the team about, trying to make them understand how they will deal with it when they get there, trying to give them tools, get people in to help them with it. It's just about being prepared for when you get there. But also the style of play that we've been speaking about, myself and the coach, there's method to the madness. There was a reason why we told the batters, go and play out freely, go and take on the game, completely get away from fear of failure, because what is a World Cup? It's fear of failure. The pressure of letting not just your team down but your country, because all of a sudden these conversations are happening and you're hearing about it. So for me, it's our success of this tournament is going to depend on how well we can release that side of our mental aspect. And as I said, we have been trying to be more open about it and speak about it and find ways how we can deal with it. And just releasing players to be the best themselves they can be. Not putting on, this is how we want you to play, this is how we want you to play, but finding out what is every guy's strength in the team, and then almost just giving him the backing to say this is the best you that we want for this team, and hopefully we can have that performances at the tournament.
Previous World Cup squads have actually brought in a specialised mental coach who might not necessarily have a cricketing background. Do you feel that in fact it's better for you and Otis, who seem to be driving a lot of the mental work that previously a mental coach would have done? Do you think it's better coming from people who do have that specific cricket knowledge?
I think players relate to players, and that's one of the reasons why myself and the coach, on the same level when it comes to these things. I am a big believer in, visualizing positive mental imagery, all that stuff. What state of mind are you mentally? How do you remain calm when the pressure is on you? And I feel as a player, there's value in that for my game, and I certainly can relate that to the players. So whether we're in a big crunch moment of the game and someone drops a catch, to focus on that, there's nothing that you can do about that anymore. So how do you make sure you change your mind around to make it nice and positive and nice and strong, so that you're still in the game? And that's something that we've spoken a lot about, is actually really being present in the moment in the World Cup, not thinking about the media, not thinking about the future, not thinking about people talking about choking. That's got complete no relevance to us as a team. Afrikaans coming out of me. So it's just about giving guys the understanding and the tools of how to deal with it, and that's not something we've just spoken about before the World Cup. Like I said, this is a year and a half, 2 years ago journey that something that I've really believed in. And I feel when it comes to that, pressure should bring out the best in you. It should bring out the warrior in you. And I think we've spoken a lot in our team discussions about that. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of that this World Cup.
Sure, you can do this. Faf Otis spoke a bit about the obsession with the World Cup versus the fact that you've played and won series before. How do the players rationalize that for themselves?
Yeah, similar to what I just, a very long answer, so I can't copy that for you again. But that's what I think. You know, it's when we get to those tournaments, people they replay the baggage, they highlight the baggage. It's almost like it's this big mirror in front of you all the time. That's all you hear. That's all you see. So it's just our thinking is that this is one way to deal with it. Get the guys to be more mentally free, because you can't be fearing making mistakes, because then you're not going to be the best player that you can be. And in league stage, over a season, or when you play a series, you have 5 games against one opposition. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. You'll get another opportunity and you'll come back. So we know that that's a real strength of ours. So we just turn that around and see how we can get a little bit better in tournament mode. And as I said, these discussions has been happening for the last 2 years. So we've got an idea, but once again, that never ever guarantees results. It's for us. It's about just focusing, like the coaches, on what we can try and achieve, what we can control. The rest is completely out of our hands. And I think something, possibly because I'm a little bit older, I've been through these events. I'm sitting on the other side of it, where I'm like, life doesn't finish when you lose in the World Cup. You're heartbroken, but completely release that. Make sure you deal with it. If that's the absolute worst case scenario, life still goes on, and just giving the younger players the freedom to say, listen, don't feel like this is this main event of your life. If you don't succeed here, you're going to be a failure for your rest of your life. And hopefully that encourages younger guys and all of us just to relax a little bit more and play the best cricket that we're capable of.
Can I just follow that up then? When you look at where you are now versus in 2015 before the World Cup, then what would you say the differences are?
I think there was a question that was probably asked a little bit earlier. Am I right? I will give you an answer, but it's just it feels like I'm going to say the same thing. I think then we try to do more. We try to be more special. We didn't think that we would have perhaps said that we think we were good enough, but it came down to we wanted to do more. We wanted to be better. We wanted to do Superman things, and now we're just trusting that whatever we do through the season is good enough, and if it's not, then that's okay.
Yes.
If I can ask you a more cricket technical type of thing. The batting lineup, where do you see yourself batting? Will you and Rassie take 3 and 4? Which one will be 3? Which one will be 4?
Yeah.
How do you see that?
I haven't spoken to the coach about that one. It feels like I've just got from the IPL and we haven't had time to discuss that. Do you want to answer it? We'll see when we get there. I think they'll play against Pakistan at number 3. But then, as I said in the post-match or in the press, is that myself and Rassie are both equipped to do 3 or 4. So whether I'm at 3, whether he's at 3, very similar players that we can adapt to different styles, different positions in the game. Flexibility, I think, is a hugely important thing to have as a batting unit. And I think you can see that, JP has batted at 4 for us at times, he's batted at 5, he's batted at 6. Dave has batted at 4, 5 at 6. So we've got that flexibility. Aiden, everyone thought he was just an opener, he went to bat at 4, 5. So that's not position based, it's more situational based in the game. You're going to find yourself with different scenarios in the game. And then you've got to tap into your skill sets of what is required at that stage.
So just to follow up, will it be more a case of you have your 6 batsmen for this game in mind, your openers, and then just see where the situation goes, and then maybe send in David Miller and you or yourself?
No, there will be structure to it. It won't be that flexible. I think you'll have your openers. You'll have me or Rassie 3 or 4. Perhaps have Dave 5 and JP 6. There will be structure to that. We know with Dave that Dave is someone that needs a bit of time. He's at his best when he can take his time and knock the ball around and explode towards the end. JP has been playing beautiful free cricket, so he could just come on and take the game on, and that's what you need. You know, if you look at someone like a Morgan from England, they play similar roles where they just come in and be attacking, and then as we said, we've got our all-rounder at number 7 and our bowling attack after that.
Can I get the last 3 lads there?
I was going to ask about the balance, but Tina's just killed
We
me.
go. Now you got to adapt and ask me something different.
Cool. Any takers for the last one?
Yeah, okay. Faf, just following up on that, it is the hardest thing in terms of balancing your side, the sort of conundrum that everyone's expecting it to be a high-scoring tournament. The Proteas batting is probably where the biggest questions lie, compared to the bowling. So, is it going to be tough to decide whether to leave out a bowler to strengthen the batting, or do you just say we don't want to mess with our strength? The batsmen just have to come to the party.
Yeah, I think we've made it clear that if we have the resources available in Rabada, Steyn, Ngiri, Tahir, even Shamsi to a degree, that we believe that is what's going to win us the tournament. So we won't compromise that. Runs will be irrelevant if you've got the strongest bowling attack in the World Cup. So that's option A. If we don't have guys that are fit to play in game 1, 2, 5 or 10, then you have to really look at what's your plan B. And that's when there's a bit more flexibility in the think tank. But option A is pretty clear for us.
Cool. Principal, just one in Afrikaans.
Two, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, Google Translate net. Alles.
Just briefly, I wanted to ask you to answer the question that your coach mentioned about die symboliek in julle wat op Tafelberg gaan klim het. Is hierdie toernooi is 'n reseberg vir julle om te klim en wat is die symboliek daar gewees? En tweedens, is julle slag gereed vir hierdie toernooi? Is daar ekstra druk op julle om goed te vaar van jaar by jaar?
Now I'm going to talk about you.
Translate first.
This
before you
is
answer.
now.
You
This
can
is
translate in
exciting.
English, you can answer.
Now I can be
Answer
really
now.
honest. Tafelberg was vir ons het is meer 'n spanaktiwiteit. Een ding waar ons baie op fokus is om seker te maak dat die spelers hulle tyd geniet hierso. Hulle cricket geniet. Die spelers, die kultuur, seker gemaak dat wanneer jy alles geniet rondom jou, dan is jy op jou beste, jy's relaxed. En dis die tipe cricket wat ons wil speel. Ons wil nie ouens moet nervous raak oor wat voor lê nie, soos jy sê, is dit hierdie groot berg wat onmoontlik is, of so. Ons sien dit nie as dit nie, ons sien dit as 'n geleentheid waar ons as 'n span gaan na 'n plek toe waar ons geleentheid het om iets te doen. As dit nie gebeur vir ons nie, dan gebeur dit vir ons, want daar's 10 ander lande wat dieselfde wil doen, en ek dink as jy ouens kan kry om bietjie te relax, hopelik speel hulle dan hulle beste cricket, en dis wat ons wil sien hierdie toernooi, ouens hulle beste cricket speel. En ek dink in die verlede het ons ons kon dit nie altyd reg kry nie, want ons sit meer druk op onsself as spelers. Jy wil so graag die beker huis toe bring vir jou land, dat jy nie altyd jou beste kan gee nie, want jy raak bietjie ekstra op jou senuwees. So vir my die laaste ruk was net om seker te maak dat spelers kan relax, en die manier hoe om dit te doen is om hulle cricket te geniet. Wat was die tweede deel van jou vraag?
Is daar ekstra druk op julle om van jaar goed te vaar? Veral as mens kyk na die atmosfeer in Suid-Afrika, julle
Ja.
is nou weer
Ja.
geleentheid.
Die druk kom altyd, die druk is daar, die druk kom van en rightly so, die druk kom van die publiek af, dit kom van die media af, dit kom van mense eie familie af. Jy weet, mense het so expectation dat jy moet goed doen, en dis verstaanbaar. Ons as die spelers weet ons is baie lief vir cricket en vir sport in Suid-Afrika. So vir my, daar is dit. Sit dit een kant en dan fokus jy net op die cricket wat jy wil speel, en geniet dit, en hou op soveel worry oor wat die outcome gaan wees, en fokus net op wat jy dag vir dag kan doen en wat binne jou beheer is.
Thank you so much, everybody.